Hi everybody, back again. Last of this series of titling videos. All that's left to do now is to figure out where the label is going to go, trim it, pare the edges, and apply it. So since this is a box for call it a design binding if you want, it's just a nice, it's just a slightly adventurous binding. I don't know what you'd call it. But anyway, so, normally title goes up at the top. But since I've titled the book, here, I think I'm actually going to echo that on the outside of the box. So I didn't get a pencil. There we go. I have a piece of cardstock here. I'm just going to put it to the bottom of the case and make a mark roughly where the blue meets the amber. So this label is going to go about here. Now, width-wise, obviously you want the label needs to be narrower than the spine of the box, about by yay. Oops, sorry, let's do it this way. About by yay. So there's the width of the label. Let me put this aside. Gonna bring my litho stone over. Okay. All right, so now is where all of this being squared and stuck to this base is going to start to make sense. So here's my final width, right? So if I first take a little bit more and divide that by half here. Oops, sorry. And here, I got my side margins. And then I'm probably going to make it symmetrical, even though in some ways it would maybe be better to have the top, the blue, a little larger, little higher than the bottom. We could do this. What if I go? Oh, this is half, right? So I go from the top of that of the top of Babel, but then I go also from the top of Beware, which means that this is going to be a little wider than that. So I'm going to go for it, and we'll see what we got. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, doesn't really matter. Now, since this is going to be, this label has to be paired anyway, you know what? Let's put a little more light on the subject here. There we go. Probably plenty. All right. So I'm going to trim this side first. And I'm going to angle my knife. So essentially it's kind of a prepare, if you want to put it that way. Flip around, find my pricks. Make sure you have the right ones. Now for the head and the tail, if you're lucky enough to have a nice little triangle. There you go. Square, clean, neat. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so now strap. I'm going to take my glasses off so I can see what I'm doing. Actually, if I wasn't filming this or videoing this, I'd have my head a lot closer to the label. Oh. Somebody needs to spend some time sharpening. I'm going to pull this down here to get to the end there. As you can see, I really prefer to pair with both hands. I just think it gives you a lot more control. And anything that gives you more control means that you've got less chance for things to go sideways, which they will do at the best of times. So just my 2 cents, or 2 nickels these days, because we don't have cents anymore, in more ways than one, and I'm not going to go there anymore. Okay, almost there. Now you can see something that I should point out here is you can see now, when I was talking about lining the label, all right, you see how it's kept the impression. You get a little highlight around the label, the impression. This is what we're looking for. If this had not been lined, this would not look like this. It would not come out square and true, and it would just look pretty cheesy. So, line your labels. Okay, last step. Attach it. Now let me get this out of the way again. It's a little funky, but when you open the box, it's going to line with the book. And one of the, how do I want to put this? A clamshell box is primarily for protection. There's no question about that. But it's also part of the whole presentation. So on the one hand, it's really easy to go overboard and make the box as fancy as the book, which is, it's not my favorite thing, because then you need a box for the box, and then things just kind of spiral out of control. But if you think of the box not only as a container for the book, but as if it was a movie, you might be able to kind of rationalize it as a short trailer, is something that you access the book through, and so it should have some, they should have some relation, but again, that's just me, and there's, it's not necessary. It's just one of my little bugaboos, and these things can just get inside your head and not let it go. So let me grab a piece of waste paper, have my brush, have my PVA, and I need a piece of release paper. Okay, and we are just about ready to wind this puppy up. So what I'm going to do now, I think I'm going to take my dividers and I'm just going to make a little prick, which I can hardly see. So it may not be obvious enough, but I'm going to try and use that to line things up with. Folder. Yeah. All right, here we go. You don't need to see me glue out this label, I hope. The one thing about lining with Japanese paper is sometimes you get little pieces, little hairs. Here it is. Just gonna drop that there for the moment. That's what I'm looking for. Side to side. And I'm going to belabor the point one more time before I annoy everybody permanently, is that we still have a nice type bite there, even after rubbing it down with a folder, okay? Again, this is the advantage to lining your labels. And this is why you pair the edges, so that you can get it to go nicely down onto the substrate. It just looks very, looks good. So that's it. That's a label from start to finish, a leather label from start to finish. Paper's even easier. Any questions? Please feel free to pop up in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've gotten something out of it, and there's more to come. So thanks again, and I'll look forward to seeing you at some point in the very near future. Take care. Bye-bye.